These are the questions that need to be answered for me in order for me to make a decision on whether or not I'm going to grant his probation or whether or not I'm going to sentence him and what I will sentence him to. I want to know if the complainant went over to his home. That's what I want to know.
Speak your truth, don't hesitate. Facts collide in this courtroom dance. Everyone gets a fair chance. Uchi-core watch, we're on the scene. Truth's unraveled.
We'll take them. All right, on Raul Juarez, do you have any witnesses, counsel?
No, just Mr. Waters, Your Honor.
All right. Court is calling 2024 CR 008249, State of Texas versus Raul Juarez Jr. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Alexandria Bogus for the state.
Christian Vega for the defense.
And are you Mr. Juarez?
Yes, I am, Judge.
All right, you entered a plea of guilty on October 2024. According to the plea bargaining agreement, the state is proceeding on count one. Punishment is to be assessed at 5 years in the prison. There's no application for deferred adjudication. The state opposes your application for community supervision. There is an affirmative finding of family violence and no contact with the complainant. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report? State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections? State?
No objection.
Defense?
Just the statements from the complainant. I don't believe she's coming today.
All right, is the complainant present?
No, Your Honor.
All right. And then have both parties had a chance to review the TAP evaluation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections to the TAP evaluation?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, state you're opposed,
Yes, Your Honor.
and why are you opposed?
Your Honor, we're opposed because he has already been on probation for other offenses. He has exhibited the same behaviors over and over again. He's had multiple chances to turn his behavior around and has not done so. He was also on probation at the time of the offense. And reviewing the PSI officer states that he does not take responsibility for his actions at this time, and he is not motivated for treatment.
May I respond, Judge?
Yes.
Regarding the lack of accountability and taking responsibility, I discussed that briefly in the memorandum. His recollection of that night is virtually non-existent. It's been pieced together from bits and pieces he remembers before the drinking, evidence review, discussions with me over several months. He's already taken kind of like an upfront jail sanction. He's been in custody on this case for 230 days at this point. And I do believe that a lot of that confusion in the taking responsibility is because he can't give a perfect recitation of the facts. He can clear up some of the discrepancies, but a lot of that he's not able to say whether how exactly the striking happened to cause this offense, Judge.
All right, so here's the court's question. The court has read your memorandum. The state had no objections to the court reviewing that. So was he passed out to the point of intoxication? And was there medical intervention due to the intoxication? Does anyone know?
Yes, so he progressively got more intoxicated as he's sitting there with the officers, but it did quickly reach that point in his blood where he was passed out, woke up in the hospital. There was intervention at the hospital.
All right. So defense, do you have any witnesses?
Just Mr. Waters.
All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Raul V. Juarez Jr., Your Honor.
All right, you may proceed.
Mr. Waters, you wanted to take responsibility for what happened on March 25th, correct?
That is correct, sir.
And you understand that while you don't remember everything, you are admitting and accepting that you did harm me with the others.
Yes, I did.
And you want this judge to give you probation, not because you just want another chance, but because you've never been helped. You've never gotten a serious treatment for your alcoholism. Isn't that right?
That is correct. I've never had any type of a treatment related to alcohol.
You had a serious crash, which is part of a DWI years ago. Do you remember what year that was?
That was in 2001.
And that was a serious accident, wasn't it?
Yes, I should have lost my life during that accident.
And you should have lost your life this night.
That is correct. My heart rate was to the point where the doctors didn't think I was going to make it when I woke up in the hospital.
And you understand that voluntary intoxication doesn't excuse all of your actions, right?
That is correct.
That you still committed them, correct?
Yes, correct.
But you would like to become a productive member of society, right?
Correct.
You'd like to continue to work.
Correct. Correct.
You'd like to continue to see your family.
Correct.
You'd like to see your granddaughter grow up.
Definitely grew up. Yes.
But you realize that you're a different person when you drink.
That is correct.
You were doing, you had complied with your probation that you're currently still on, up to the point of the offense date.
That is correct. I did complete a BIP class. I reported to every assignment I was reported to. I did the UAs. I did everything that the court was requesting.
Who is the complainant in cause number 2021 CR 8180?
It's the same complainant, Judge.
Right, so let's get to the crux of the issue. The last time we were here on the 2021 CR 8180 case, I had ordered no contact with Carmen Gutierrez. And that motion, there was a motion to a probation violation, and it was withdrawn. The state stated they could not prove the new number one. And the defendant said that the complainant continued to contact him. And now I've read in the stipulations, and in the stipulations, or either in the report, it states that the defendant is stating that when he was released from custody, the complainant had moved all of his things to her home. So
So
is that someone different?
That's someone different. That's
okay.
Jessica, his more recent girlfriend.
Okay,
She had moved things to his home, but the relationship with the complainant in this case was a toxic one, where even after the no contact order and the case that he was on probation on, they ended up, reuniting and having contact on the date in question.
so I'm trying to get to the crux of things. The court ordered him to have no contact with her. He decided to have contact with her. Whether she wanted to have contact with him or not, or whether she was coming by his house or not, he decided to have contact with her. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And he went to her place.
No, sir. No, ma'am. It was my place.
All right, so it's your home.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on the lease and she's not on the lease?
I'm on the lease, not she. She was living in San Angelo, Texas at the time of the offense, ma'am.
And so she's not on the lease.
She's not on my lease.
State? Any information in regards to that?
I have just a few minutes.
Sure. And the new number one in that motion to revoke, was that this case?
No, that was a violation of protective order that they were going to file, but they could not prove it, so they did not file it.
Okay.
And it was a separate, I believe it was digital communications that they were gonna go after. And then they didn't file the one for this, a separate case based on just them being present, because they realized that she had wanted to be with him, and that out of fairness, they would proceed on the assault rather than the violation of protective order when it was consensual contact, even though he had his conditions.
All right, off the record for a moment. Sorry about that. They didn't tell us from the jail.
We don't have any information as to whether she was on the lease or not at that time.
Okay. All right, we're back on the record. Any other questions for your client?
You're sorry.
Yes.
And you want to prove to your family, to her, even though you're never gonna have contact with her again, and the support that you're gonna become a better man, right?
That is correct. I'm done with alcohol. I gave my life, ever since March, I've drawn close to God. And I just gave surrendered with a white flag. I gave my life to him and to take those things away from me permanently. I realized it's harming not only myself to the point where it's actually killing me, but also hurting my family. And I do want to live long enough. At 55 years old, I don't have that much time left. But I'd like to spend the rest of my what I do have watching my granddaughter, my only grandchild, grow up. And that's my wish, and also to retire in Corpus Christi, Texas. Somewhere down the line, I'd like to move my probation toward New Essex County, Corpus Christi, Texas, to be with my daughters and my new grandchild.
Nothing further, Judge.
All right, any further questions?
Just briefly, Your Honor. Mr. Juarez, have you been on probation before?
Yes, I have.
How many times have you been on probation?
Twice.
And were they successful?
Yes. The first one, yes.
And the second one?
The second one is this one. This is the second one.
So on the date in question, you said that she came to your house. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And she was inside your house.
Yes.
Why did you allow her inside your house?
I was outside washing my vehicle. The front door was open, and she took the opportunity to go inside the house.
So
That
she just ran inside the house.
She didn't run. She just walked in.
Did you call the police?
No, ma'am.
Why not?
She wanted to talk, so I gave her the opportunity.
But you knew that there was a no contact order
That is correct, ma'am.
and you still spoke to her.
Yes, to provide peace.
So you did not follow the conditions that the court imposed on you,
Neither did she.
but you did not
No.
follow. What do you mean by that? Neither did she.
Well, she was the one that placed that protective order against me, and we both had an agreement that no contact, according to Your Honor, the judge, Ms. Stephanie Boyd, and I agreed to my end. I remember Ms. Boyd, you asked me, do I have any possession that she owns? I said, no, there's nothing that she has that is of mine. So there was no need for me to even go near her. But I don't like making enemies. I
Okay,
just
sure.
want to remain friends.
Mr. Juarez,
Yes.
that was a yes or no?
Can you repeat that question? Sorry.
Okay. So you said she placed a protective order on you. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. But you knew that you were not to have contact with her
yes,
and you still spoke to her
yes.
and you did not call the police when she came to your house.
No. My phone was inside the house at the time.
And would you agree that the first step is to accept responsibility for your actions?
Everything that happened on that day is
Mr. Juarez,
is my responsibility. It's my house and it's I take fault for everything that happened.
But did you tell that to the probation officer?
Yes. That it was my fault.
And would it surprise you that in the PSI, the PSI investigator stated that you were not taking responsibility for your actions?
There were some parts that I don't remember, but I take full responsibility.
So you admit that you punched her?
The complainant says that I punched her, then if I was going in and out of consciousness, then it must have been true. I'm not saying that I did or didn't, I don't remember. But I'm going with what she says. But I take full responsibility, my actions that night.
We pass away, Mr. Ryan.
No further questions, Judge.
All right. So this is what the court wants to know. These are the questions that need to be answered for me in order for me to make a decision on whether or not I'm going to grant his probation or whether or not I'm going to sentence him and what I will sentence him to. I want to know if the complainant went over to his home. That's what I want to know. So if the complainant wants to come in and testify, if the complainant wants to testify by Zoom, the complainant can testify by Zoom. We can go off the record. So here's the court's problem. I ordered no contact order, and I understand the circle of violence. I think everybody understands the circle of violence. But if you have the complainant going to his home and he's at his house minding his business, that's what he's telling me his story is. And the complainant comes to his house and he's extremely intoxicated. Obviously, he's extremely intoxicated because they had to take him to the hospital. In the defense memorandum, I see the photos where he's passed out. So I understand that. I'm taking that in consideration. I understand that intoxication is not a defense, but I'm looking at all factors. So what I want to know is, did she come to his house? Did they decide to violate the court's rules, at least you, where I said you were not to have contact with her? Now, if I said you're not to have contact with her, which I did,
Yes, you did.
and you let her move into your home, then that's neither here nor there. But if I have a complainant who's showing up to his house unannounced, even though the court has orders in place for him to have no contact, then that's something for me to consider.
Your Honor, in the police report, she says that they are living together, and when they took down her address, it was the same address as the defendant.
Okay. So does anyone want to see if the complainant wants to appear by Zoom?
As long as there's no objections, we can reach out.
Is it the old address?
Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
Judge, I think those might be two different addresses.
Yes.
Well, no. Here's my question. This is my only question. Any objection to the complainant appearing by Zoom?
I do, Judge. I would like to cross-examine her in person.
All right. So what I can tell y'all, either complainant will be here or not be here. If the complainant is not here, then I'm gonna go on what I have.
Can we have a 5-minute recess to reach out to the complainant to see if she's willing to come in and testify? And then if she is, we can reset the case. So we can
Yes.
have the testimony. If not, if she tells us no, then we can move forward today.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Judge.
All right. Raul Juarez. We're back on the record in 2021 CR 8180 State versus Raul Juarez. Can I have parties re-announce for the record? State,
Christian Vega for Mr. Juarez.
and you're Mr. Juarez.
Yes, ma'am.
And my understanding, both parties had a chance to review things and you all have reached a stipulation. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And what is the stipulation?
The complainant, we spoke to the complainant and she said that she did not live at the address. She was there to pick up Mr. Juarez to go to Corpus Christi. They went to go see his family, came back, dropped him off, and that is when everything happened. But that she was welcome in his house.
All right. And she was aware that there was a no contact order?
Yes, Your Honor.
And there was no contact before that day. It was just she wanted to drop off a gift to the granddaughter, so they met, they took the trip.
That's correct.
All right. Are you available to come back tomorrow, counsel?
I should be, Judge.
All right. This is something that I need to think on.
Okay.
All right. Because I will tell you, we can go off the record. This is my issue. One, he behaved badly. whether he was completely intoxicated or not. I do note that he was intoxicated to the point of going to the hospital. And then we have a no contact order. And he has stated on his motion to revoke that she's the one who contacts him. And then we have an incident now where she's coming to his home, regardless of whether, they were going to Corpus for family or not. A no contact order is in place. So I need time to think about this and decide whether to grant his application or send him to prison. So we'll come back tomorrow.
That's fair, Judge.
All right, thank you. Norma, on Juarez, it's coming back tomorrow.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Have a blessed day.
All right, thank you, you too. On what page?
Page 5 at the bottom.
All right, thank you. All right, Raul Juarez.
They're set.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon. All right, the court is calling 2024 CR 008249, State of Texas versus Raul Juarez. Can I have parties announced for the state, family violence,
Raymond Saldana?
defense?
Christian Vega.
And you're Mr. Juarez?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, the court has heard testimony previously. The court asked that this be recalled for the court can consider his application. And I really thought about this, as I think about all cases, for a long time, and I reviewed the memorandum of law. I want everyone to know I do understand the circle of violence, but I have an issue. And he was in the wrong, of course. He was intoxicated. But my issue is, really, what is he supposed to do when someone comes to his home, in his home?
And Your Honor, if the state could address that, I'm sorry, Ashley
Yes.
Jones for the state. My understanding is that it was stipulated that there was an agreement between both parties for them to go visit family in Corpus Christi. And so it wasn't a case of the complainant just showed up to his house unbeknownst to the defendant.
Mhm.
This was a case where they agreed to go somewhere together, in fact, leave the town together, leave the county together to go visit family and then come back. So just so the court's aware,
Okay.
complainant didn't just show up to the house unannounced, unbeknownst to the defendant.
All right. And so I still do have issues. I have issues when I do a no contact order. And you're supposed to abide by my no contact
That is
order.
correct. Your Honor.
But at the same time, I'm trying to protect the complainant, and the complainant is making it difficult by, I wouldn't say violating the no contact order because she's not under my jurisdiction, but in trying to keep her safe by saying that you're not to have any contact. And then the next thing we know, you all are agreeing to go somewhere together. So you're at fault
Yes, ma'am.
because I have jurisdiction of you.
Yes, ma'am.
She shouldn't have had contact with you because there's a no contact order and the government and myself are trying to protect her. And now we're here where you're extremely intoxicated and you're with her. All right. So this is what the court is going to do. The court is going to find you guilty. The court is going to sentence you to 3 years in the prison. And the state requested 5. The reason why I'm giving you 3 is because I understand and I see the entire global picture of this, where yes, there was a no contact order in place, but you both were operating outside the court's guidelines. So it's going to be 3 years TDC. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with Carmen Gutierrez. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
I did.
All right, because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction and an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
I understand.
All right, and I'll recommend the therapeutic community for you to help with any alcohol issues you may have. Once you're released from prison, if you can't find a place that will help you, you can always come back to here if I'm still here, and I'll make sure that you have a place to go to address any drug issues you may have.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you.
Judge, one
Yes.
last thing. What is gonna happen with his current probation?
If you all want to come to an agreement for revocation, we can do that. Otherwise, what will happen once he's released from prison, he'll still be on probation. All right, thank you.
Oh, thanks, Judge.
All right, we are taking our
Uchi core watch with